like to speak a little bit about the release of experiencing life through a point of reference. So most everybody experiences life through this reference point that is defined as me, which is the body. And for most of you, there are two things that are going on at the same time. Because of the work, there is the flavor of that, and there is also the taste of what is referenceless. And out of the reference point, there are these intermittent periods of efforting, attempting, trying to get away from the experience of the reference point. And there are these two pieces which have been spoken about, which are in the greatest service to everything. And the first is the release of relationship with egoic impatience. Sense of urgency is really rooted in pure sense of distraction. It is impossible to receive the grace that is being offered if there is a being globbed onto some future story about what I want. It is also impossible to alter the story. It arises out of the point of reference. But patience is patience with the totality of all of it. It is not possible to free identification that who I am is this conditioned point of reference if it does not arise in all of its flavors. There is a deeper and deeper recognition in here of this wisdom that is orchestrating the show. On the one hand, there is total stupidity, which is following the mind's interpretation of anything as real. At this point, after all the work that has been done, following anything the mind has to say as real is stupidity. It is okay, stupidity happens at times. But the way in which patience is nurtured, which is humility, does not occur in this trying to get away from this conditioned point of reference. It lies in the simple recognition that there is no one that can affect anything and to receive the grace that is being offered, which is custom made to free everything. The more this is trusted, the more is revealed. The more that's revealed, the greater the ability to open. The greater the ability to open, the more all of this trapped in false belief, which constantly draws attention back to this point is liberated. It is never a doing, there is no one to do. It is release of the ignorance rooted in the belief of someone who has the ability to do something. And then the grace offers itself. In its time, in its way, in its perfection, while the mind always remains clueless. It is not that the mind gets a clue, it's that there begins to be a seeing. The seeing arises in these moments when it is coming out of what is still, what is everywhere, what is referenceless. Then it can be seen. What is seen is there is no one in there. There is no one to do something, to change something, to succeed, to fail. It is all being done. And the natural byproduct is this growing sense of trust, replacing this conditioned fear. The seeing that everything perceived as a problem is only perceived as a problem because it is being perceived from this point of reference. What is happening in this reference point is contained to that one finite point alone. The role of the wisdom is that it empties all the contents. When the contents are being emptied and identification is happening inside the story of conditioning, there is suffering. Because the story will speak of some problem that's happening again. But what seems to be the problem inside the habit of identification is pure grace, and everyone, most everyone, recognizes this, many very, very deeply. For many, the sense of trust is completely unwavering now. It is a guarantee when there is the simple orientation. The simple orientation around patience. And then there is the vigilance. Which is the force that breaks the addictive habit, which is your greatest ally every time the war ceases. This feeling into who am I? this taste of what is now. If there is the experience of the point of reference, it's feeling all the way into it. It is impossible for it to be tasted if it is felt all the way into, because it is a mirage. In order for there to be the experience of a reference point, there must be something aware of the reference point, subject and object. You cannot have one without the other. They are codependent. So then what is aware? Feeling what is aware. If it was not there, there could not be awareness of the point of reference. And then there is what has nothing to do with subject or object. It is called the silence. But it is something felt. It is the feeling of silence. The feeling of silence is referenceless. It has no observer. It's everywhere. With the nurturing of the beauty of patience and the nurturing of the grace of vigilance, then all of the orchestration, as perfectly as it is orchestrated, does its perfect work, and nothing can stop it. How this feeling of the silence has deepened. Been lots of release in this retreat, and every time something is released, the force that pulls the habit into the constriction weakens, and the beauty of the flavor of your essence heightens. The simple feeling of what is referenceless and then there is this amazing revelation. As it begins to root itself, there is this amazing revelation. That what is appearing in the body doesn't affect anything. It never did. It only seemed to. And the taste of the beauty that was was being sought after so fervently from this reference point of conditioning. This pure beauty is revealed to be all there is. The feeling of true silence, the heart of eternity, this pure bliss that's everywhere. So in the appearance of time, it appears that we all come in here and take our own seat. But it is like the pieces of fruit on a fruit tree. It is one tree. One piece of fruit perhaps looks more ripe, but in the play of time, in the play of cause and effect, in the play of form, it is only a matter of time. It's all one tree. This is one tree. The role of the reference point, which can weave its familiar story, lives in patience and vigilance. These are the two aspects of free will. The growing beauty, the softness and tenderness that just seems to continue to ripen. With every upheaval, the byproduct is always something more beautiful. And we have the grace to witness it in each other. Until the seeing of each other is the seeing of myself. Which is beginning to ignite as soon as there is a stepping out of the habit. It is so clear what is going on. How can it be denied by any mind?